Hello, fellow fish nerds, and happy Water Change Wednesday to you. Don't worry, this is not going to be one of those cringy collection in the wild how to find the parts to build a planaria trap like I did in my video from 2 weeks ago. Post link that video right here. I really had fun with it. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was a lot of lame, cheesy jokes, but this week's video hopefully will not be as parasitic. You like that joke? With that joke, parasitic. But anyways, update. The shrimp tank behind me was the one that had the planaria. It's doing much better now. The planaria numbers are greatly reduced. But stay tuned for my newest parasite infestation. I guess 'tis the season. Stay tuned. It's Mr. Science Geek. I hope my tanks don't leak. If it's information that you seek, at my videos take a peek. Be sure to tune in each week. My singing and my jokes really reek. So I was feeding my guppies as usual, and all of a sudden I noticed camallanus worms. I've seen camallanus worms about 15 years ago when I was keeping a 30-gallon fish tank at my parents' house back when I still used to live with my parents when I was in college. So I recognized them pretty quickly, and thanks to the videos from Susan for SLC Aquatics, I was able to get some quick tips and information on how to start treating them. Now, I'm not really concerned about the guppies. These are just mutt guppies, and my ramshorn snails aren't really a big deal, but my super red plecos that are also in this tank, I am concerned about. So the first thing you do is you do a very large water change, 50% to 90%, somewhere around that range. So you see I'm doing that, which took forever with such a small water change siphon. But definitely important, definitely necessary to prepare for the medication. That's really frustrating because then a lot of places online offer a lot of different opinions and things that they think you should do or medications you think you should use, and this is when I consulted my local fish store, Click and Fish. Link to their store down below. Check out all of that fish waste. Might be the reason why this tank smells. Anyways, back on topic here. So I talked to the guys at Click and Fish, Anik and Milan, because I know that they have some experience with this, and I asked them, listen, which one's better, levamisole or fenbendazole? And they said to use levamisole. So next thing you do after doing water changes, obviously to fill the water back up, make sure you use prime for dechlorinating water. This is water straight out of the tap, so it's super important to add the prime. Next thing you do is you measure out 0.3 grams of levamisole per 10 gallons. Do you know how difficult it is to measure 0.3 grams on a triple beam balance? That's what I had, so that's what I used. First I had to factor in the mass of the slip of paper that I was pouring the levamisole on, which turned out to be 0.4 grams. So I tared the scales back out. Then I moved up the scale up 0.3 grams past that, which brings it to 0.7 grams. So I knew once the scales tared back out or even back out to zero or zeroed back out, and I knew I was at 0.3 grams. Excuse my really dry skin. It's a skin condition I have on just my left hand. So I slowly and carefully poured the levamisole onto the slip of paper that I found literally right behind the triple beam balance. It was a flashcard one of my students had from the beginning of the year that they left laying around. So I figured, hey, why not reuse it instead of tearing off some more paper. So slowly adding some more levamisol, which felt like it took forever, especially with having a toddler in the room, because she was kind of bugging me that she wanted to see it, she wanted to, see the fish, and I didn't want her to get too close to it. So anyways, you see here that I finally zeroed it out, and then I poured a little bit of tank water into a cup to get it started. Then I poured the 0.3 grams of levamisol into the water, and I added some more tank water to stir it up. I know you don't have to do this, but I figured this was the best way to inject it into the water column. And I just felt a little bit better about doing this. I made sure there was any excess that was removed from there. Make sure I get every last little granule, and then continue to mix it, and then I suck it back up with the syringe. Then I injected the 0.3 grams of levamisol and fish tank water solution into the tank, which quickly stirs it down to the bottom. You'll see this air bubbles come out here, so I know it's going all throughout. Then I try to rinse out the syringe the best I can, and try to put it in that way. For my 29 gallon, it takes 0.9 grams of levamisol. You'll see this is after the treatment. This is the following day, and strangely enough, my ramshorn snails are in this weird configuration in the corner of my tank. I was really thrown off by that, but they're still alive. It is important that you continue feeding the fish. Here the super red bristlenose pleco is feeding on French cut green beans. They're eating, and these are the fish I'm really worried about the most. The guppies are acting pretty normal, pretty clueless as to what's going on, I think. The koi swordtails are acting scared as always. But like I said, I'm not really worried about the mutt guppies. I'm more so concerned about the super red bristlenose plecos. The guppies are acting normally. I am, like I said, a little bit concerned about the ramshorn snails dying, not because I'm afraid of losing them, but because I'm afraid of the ammonia spike from the decomposition is the biggest concern, and that affecting the super red bristlenose plecos. And here you'll see the effects or lack thereof on the panda guppies. It's not very much, it's just they are sleeping because it's super important with levamisol to turn the lights off because it is light dependent. So stay tuned for next week. I'll be posting an update on my tanks that have had to be treated with the levamisol for the camallanus horn. So be sure to turn on the notifications for that so you can be updated, and check my links below. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already done so. Comment with any suggestions you have or any questions you have. And thank you. Stay tuned and stay fishy, people.